Hey there, friendlies, how's up? This is a short video for you that was the result of a member poll that I did a couple of weeks ago. And it's what are my top 5 beginner bushcraft implements. I was going to say tools, but they're not all tools. So without further ado, here are the top 5 things. Starting with sort of the most obvious, it's definitely a knife. Not necessarily a folding knife. A belt knife is definitely a better way to go. It gives you all kinds of opportunities for batoning, carving. You can use it for food prep, everything. Just if you're going to use it for food prep, do all the other stuff, clean it, and then do your food prep. But yeah, a solid belt knife around the 4-inch mark is probably the best. Too much shorter, like a 3-inch or a 2-inch knife, and it's hard to do the batoning. Too much longer and it gets kind of unwieldy. This one is 4.5, I think. But anyways, a good knife. Second is some sort of a saw. Like a little silky saw is fine too. This is just the saw I have with me. Something that you can fold and put away, or like with a silky or whatever, the Baco Laplander, that you can just sort of put in a sheath on your belt. Ideal. You don't need anything too big. With the saw and the knife, you don't need an axe. And look, I'm an axe guy, but you don't need the axe. There are ways you can get around it. First of all, if you need to split some rounds, what you can do is saw to halfway down and then pick it up and whack it against a tree until half of it pops off. With the knife, you can baton smaller pieces. You don't need to have an axe. You should have an axe because they're amazing, but the way I see it, if you're beginning, money might be a little tight, and you're probably not going on huge, long trips, right? Oops, I dropped it. But the third is a pot. With a pot, you can do all the obvious stuff, right? You can boil out some water for tea or like a mountain house meal or whatever. You can make porridge in that. You can use it for all kinds of food prep, and you can use it to get water. You know, water at the lake, scoop it up, bring it back to your camp, boil it up, so you don't catch giardia. Knife, saw, pot. Knife, saw, pot. Sorry, I forgot it. Fire kit. Flint and steel, ferro rod, either one, just so long as you've practiced a lot before you take your first trip. But at the end of the day, if you have stormproof matches, first of all, you should bring stormproof matches or a Zippo or something, like as a safety, like a backup. But what you need to do is get a fire started, okay? And if you're beginning, maybe you don't know what kind of fire kit you want yet or whatever. Don't feel bad about bringing stormproof matches to your first few outings until you get the practicing down pat on this, all right? What is up with you? You're not even my dog. Okay. For the last thing you want is definitely going to be a wool blanket, all right? This one's a Canadian Forces one. It doesn't have to be, but you want it to be as near to 100% wool as you can get, because what that gives you is, even when a wool blanket becomes wet, it doesn't lose its thermal properties. Will you please leave me alone? Wool blanket you can lay on the ground if you're going to kneel down and do some stuff, or if you're sitting near the fire and you're not sure like how messy the ground is, you can sleep under it. At the end of the day, you can, if you're in a real tight spot, you can just wrap yourself up in it and sleep the night away under the stars. So that's my top 5. Your knife, your saw, your pot, your fire kit, and your wool blanket. As you develop as a bushcrafter, you will definitely add to that. You'll definitely add an axe. You'll definitely add like a bivvy or something, some sort of a sleep system. The wool blanket will still remain part of your long-term setup, of course. But, sleeping bag, maybe hammock, maybe tent, all kinds of stuff. But this is your basic stuff for your first short trip in warm weather. So that's all she wrote. Thanks for watching. As I always say, if you like what I'm doing here, then please do the following 3 things. 1, comment down below. How would your top 5 beginners list differ from mine? 2, share this video. That helps me more than you could possibly imagine. And 3, leave me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, that's okay. Leave me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.